Hi, Brenton Ford here. Welcome to Effortless Swim News for the week. What's the first thing you should do to start improving your technique? Well, when I'm working one-on-one with swimmers, the very first thing we look at is your body position. So what are your feet, what are your legs, and what are your hips doing in the water? The first thing that I worked on this morning with a swimmer that I did a one-on-one lesson with was his toes weren't pointed. So his toes were pointing down to the bottom of the pool, and that meant that his legs were dropping. And then the second thing that he was doing was bending at the hips rather than being straight through the hips. So we also worked on that. And so the very first drill that we worked on, it was kicking with the board out the front, and we made him point his toes down so it was streamlining the rest of his body. And we also made him tilt his hips slightly backwards like he would in Pilates and squeeze his glutes. So he was straight through the body, and that meant he was sitting a whole lot higher in the water. So that's one of the very first things that you can do to start improving your technique, is kick with the board, working on the right body position so you're sitting up high and your heels are breaking the surface in the kick. Now realize that not everyone can afford a one-on-one lesson or the Mastering Freestyle program, but I know that the results that Toby will get in the next couple of months as he's leading up to his triathlons, they will far outweigh what it cost him to go through those lessons. So you can start improving your technique today with a couple of body position drills, because they're the best place to start if you want to improve your technique. Athletes are like a light switch. They have their on and their off. So when an athlete is on, they're training hard, they're working hard, and they're eating the right things. But athletes also have an off, where usually the first 2 weeks of their off season, they will eat more than they should, they'll exercise less than they should, and they'll be sitting around the house on the couch not doing anything. And that's okay, because that gives you an understanding of what it's like to feel that way. So it gives you more desire to want to be able to get to that top level of fitness and training. So it's okay to have an off phase in your training, because it's hard to maintain that on for an entire year. One of the best ways to get into your on phase is to create a weekly schedule where you map out what training you do each day of the week, morning and night. And then if you put that schedule on your fridge, then it's always in front of you and you know what you've got coming up that day and the next day. And that's one really good way to get into the routine and the habit of training. And I've attached a weekly schedule maker at the bottom of this video. So you can download that, you can print it off and put it on your fridge. So it gives you a better habit and routine to get into with your training. What is it with swimmers pushing off 2 seconds behind the next person? I coach in the mornings, and there's a few tri squads that train next to us, and they're good swimmers and they work hard, but they push off 2 seconds behind the person in front of them. If they want to improve their technique and their stroke, push off 5 to 7 seconds and leave a little bit of room. It means that you can get clear water and you can get more from your training. So rather than drafting for the whole session where you're working 30% easier, then push off 5 to 7 seconds behind so you get some clear water to swim well with better technique, and you get to work harder in the session so you get more from it. If you find that you're constantly sore in a specific muscle, there's 2 ways you can loosen it without getting a massage and without getting therapy for it. The first one is a spiky ball. So it's a small ball with spikes in it, and you can usually pick it up from a physiotherapist or a sports store. And you can put it on the ground and you can maneuver yourself around to massage the muscle. And you can also use a foam roller, which is also available from physiotherapists and sporting stores, to massage the muscle while you're lying on the floor. So these 2 items will help you loosen up any muscles that you constantly find are tight. So for example, I've had a sore lower back in the last few weeks, and last night I used the spiky ball to massage my glutes and my hamstrings, which loosened up my lower back. So these 2 items are great if you're constantly sore in a specific muscle. That's it for news this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back next week. Yeah.